Hey everybody, this is Dexum, and here is my ranking countdown of all characters currently in the game for Marvel Heroes Omega. A little disclaimer, while these are my opinions on each of these characters, it's important to note that I have played every character past the Cosmic Trial, and that every character does have potential to do fantastic damage depending on your playstyle. That being said, let's get to the rankings. Ant-Man's ranking was chosen for a number of different reasons. In his current iteration, most of his abilities, such as his insect construct abilities, have too high of an ACP energy cost, especially for the amount of damage that they do. Leveling Ant-Man wasn't very fun due to the high energy costs of his powers, and although it seems post 60 he should be played as a damage over time character, he just doesn't seem like he's doing enough damage in comparison to all the other characters currently in the game. While Ant-Man does excel at things like crowd control, he just doesn't measure up to the other characters, and it seems like some of his skills and talents could be reworked a little bit better and that he could benefit from a damage boost. Black Panther is a very calculating character. He has some very strong moves, but he suffers from too high of energy consumption for his abilities and not enough energy restoration. His first tier talents at this time take some of his basic abilities and not only increases their damage, but it'll also increase spirit cost, or it'll add spirit cost where there wasn't a spirit cost before. While Black Panther has a lot of potential for damage, his resource management is just so poor that the only reason that he ranks higher than Ant-Man right now is because he has stealth and a guaranteed brutal strike. While it's completely possible to find builds that work for Black Panther, in comparison to other characters on this list, there are just a lot of better options. If you happen to be a Black Panther fan, he definitely has some opportunities to make his builds work. There are a few good things about Moon Knight. He's a versatile character that has many melee abilities as well as ranged abilities. One of the problems with Moon Knight is that he becomes really complex, which makes him tougher to play. His highest damage builds revolve around Avatar of Vengeance, with his talent of facing the madness. But for the majority of his abilities, they are easy to use and he's easy to play. While a lot of his abilities are kind of underwhelming, Moon Knight has a lot of potential. He's one of those easy to use but tough to master types of characters. Hawkeye has some interesting abilities, some of which actually make him kind of fun to play. While most of his sustained damage will come from Serrated Arrow and his Nerve Gas Arrow, he also has the ability to go stealth, and he has a pretty decent taunt ability as well to get enemies off of you. While there's nothing wrong with Hawkeye, his damage does seem to be a little low, even at the top end. Not to mention when you're using Serrated Arrow, you are kind of stuck in one place. In addition to that, his Trick Arrow mechanic can kind of be confusing at first, and leveling him up can be kind of tough because of that. If you're the type of player who loves Hawkeye, there's a lot of great abilities here and several possible builds. But if you're looking for pure raw damage, you're not going to find it here. Captain America is the quintessential mid-tier character. He does good damage, he has good mobility, and he can be very fun to play. One of the problems with Captain America right now is that his serum mechanic is broken, but you can easily remove serum in his talent tree. Even when removing serum though, the major problem with Captain America is that he just has too few options for viable builds. It appears as though he has less abilities than other characters, and that's really why he places here on the list. For Captain America fans though, you should not have any problems doing the content with him, and some may even be happy with the damage he puts out. Captain Marvel is a really good character, if you can get her to 60 and past Cosmic. She has a few viable builds with both melee and ranged options. She can also be a really fun character to play too. Where Captain Marvel goes wrong is she can be a little spirit hungry, which means when you level her up, you might notice that you run out of energy really quickly. With a little time and effort though, you can make Captain Marvel a really strong endgame character. There are some things about Gambit that's changed, such as originally he was able to cast his abilities with no cooldown time, and they ended up adding one. Despite that change, Gambit has a lot of good things going for him, including decent crowd control, some good damage over time, and an ability to attack while moving that knocks back everyone around you. He also has several options for build variety, and if built right, he can be an excellent post-60 character. One of the reasons that he's placed here is because while his signature is fairly strong, the channel is a little long, and in most cases it only focuses on one character at a time, which makes it amazing for bosses, but not great if you're talking about heavy AoE. Otherwise, there's enough versatility with Gambit that can give a Gambit fan a lot to like about him. Beast is an interesting character. He has several really good movement abilities, and his main mechanic, momentum, is really based around the amount that you move. He also has several gadget abilities and the potential for guaranteed brutal strikes. He has several options for versatile builds, and really once you get to learn the character, he can be extremely strong. What places him here is that his gadget synergies are something that might cause a little issue for people who aren't initiated to synergizing their abilities. And some people don't really like the momentum talent, but overall, Beast is a pretty strong character despite those perceived shortcomings. Luke Cage is a fun, versatile character. He comes equipped with a summon, some very heavy close range and long range abilities, and some guaranteed critical hits. He definitely has the potential to be one of the best characters, but really what ends up holding him back is the use of the combo point mechanic, which works similar to Captain America's serum or She-Hulk's combo points. While combo points don't really matter for some characters, the reason Luke Cage places at this point is because his combo point builders just don't feel as organic as some of the other characters. Luke Cage also seems to have a little low mobility, and his Dempsey roll while doing a lot of damage feels like it keeps him rooted longer than it should. Overall, Luke Cage is a really great character, and if you happen to be a Heroes for Hire fan, you can get Luke Cage and he also can summon Iron Fist, so you have a 2-in-1 deal right here. Cyclops has a lot of good things going for him. He primarily plays as a summoner with heavy channeled ranged abilities, as well as some pretty decent heavy hitters. Summoning Beast is one of the best abilities because all of his attacks brutal strike. You also have several channel options, and some are better than others. Cyclops has a really good signature that can hit a lot of enemies for some good sustained damage, and depending on your summons, you have a lot of opportunities for different builds. The reason why Cyclops places where he does is because his best channel ramps up in damage the longer you channel it. This isn't inherently a problem, but for maximum damage it seems you need to be rooted more often than you should. And with only having one taunt, which is Emma Frost, which is in your final talent box, cosmic level operations conditions can certainly place him as a target. Otherwise, Cyclops is an excellent choice. Another thing is his summons don't stay around for very long aside from Magic or Beast. But if you really like a ranged summoner option that can potentially do heavy channel damage, Cyclops is your guy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next ranking list, and I'll see you in game.